Alright girls, so we are in downtown Kenai. This is the Eric Hansen Scout Park. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of downtown Kenai. So this park overlooks the beach where they are doing some dip netting. And I'll go down, we'll walk on down to the beach too. So this is the Cook Inlet. This is what Kenai and Soldotna are off of. See down there, you see all those people camping on the beach, setting up tents. They're doing what's called dip netting. And I'll explain dip netting a little bit more as we go down there. That's where we're going to go. Thought I'd show you a little bit of downtown Kenai before we go down there. It's not very big, so it's a quick little tour. Kenai is about the same size. Well, yeah, it's a little smaller, but it's a little bit smaller than Middleton was when we first moved to Middleton. I think Kenai has like 7,000 people or something like that. I think when we first moved to Middleton, it had like 8,000 or 9,000. So the downtown's pretty small. The big thing here is there's a Russian Orthodox church. My first time coming to Alaska, my mom took me to. There's this really old guy that had been the priest there for years and years and years. Of course, he's definitely dead by now. Was it back in 2006 when your mom and I went? We saw him. That was 20 years ago almost, and he's probably like in his 80s or 90s then. So unless he's the oldest living man on earth, he's gone. But I'm cutting through parking lot. All these houses, these are all usually apartments, temporary rentals, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, and it's middle of July, July 20th, well, towards the end of July. It's about 60 degrees outside and it's raining. So it's nice and refreshing. I did bring a jacket, but the rain's kind of nice. So yeah, it hasn't been often where I'm not at church and I'm wearing pants in the middle of July, but here we are. Kind of crazy, as if my legs weren't wide enough. My goodness. And of course now I have like my tan is basically from my shins down, because when I run I wear my knee braces, so it's an even worse farmer's tan than it normally would be. But anyway, I'll stop the video. When I come back, we'll be in front of the Russian Orthodox Church. Okay, here we are. So this is the oldest church here. It is the Holy Assumption of the Virgin Mary Russian Orthodox Church. It was built in 1894. It's one of the oldest standing Orthodox churches in Alaska. So I've been inside before. It's Sunday, so I think there's actually services happening, so we're not going to go in. But yeah, so way back when, Alaska was actually it was settled by Russians, a lot of fur trappers. Obviously the natives lived here first, but Russians came over. They were fur trappers, and they would look for pelts, look for furs, hunt them, and send them down to get sold, what have you. And then in the 1800s, Russia sold all of Alaska to the United States, famously, and of course that was a pretty good deal for the US. I believe it was just a few $1 million, 3 cents an acre, something like that. You'll learn about it in school. You'll know it a lot better than I do. But there's, you can tell the Russian Orthodox churches because they have those cool little steeples. And cool blue and curved like that. You get pictures of Moscow, which is the capital of Russia. They've got gigantic churches like that, basilicas type of thing. They have those cool curved things on top. Your mom has one of those, it looks like a church, and it's a music box type thing that spins, that we got when we were in, I think, Sitka. She can show you that. But that's the highlight of downtown Kenai. Here's some other stuff. There's a burger bus, which is a old school bus that someone turned into a burger stand. That has pretty fantastic burgers, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they're not the best burgers, but you're not Five Guys, but they're pretty good. And definitely some of the better burgers I've had here on the peninsula. So this is the trail we're gonna take to get down to the beach. That's Kenai South Beach on the other side of the water. That's the mouth of the Kenai River. And so keep that in mind, because that's important when it comes to dip netting. And this is where Kenai North Beach starts. And you'll see it always starts here at the beginning of, or mid-July, or beginning to the second week of July, and it goes until August. And all these cars, that parking lot over there, I've never seen it that full. It's crazy. That is crazy. It's usually like 3 or 4 cars in there. And it goes on till August. It'll probably be done by the time you guys get out here. But I'll walk on down, and we'll have you join up as we walk after I get down there. You know what? I started walking. I was like, you know, the girls will probably want to see this, so we'll walk on down there together. It's a cool little path. I actually, one time when I first started looking for agates, found some of my best early on agates right here on this path. I don't know if somebody had dropped them, or if they were like, hey, let's let someone else find some, but I was grateful for it. So we've got a bunch of flowers here along the path. If I brought the flower book, I would have tried to identify it for you, but I don't want to sound like an idiot. I mean, why start now? But yeah, so there's some cool pink flowers, and apparently here in like August, from what I hear, the flowers really go crazy, and then that's when you start getting berries and stuff. And then apparently it's like end of August into September, the leaves change colors, and we'll definitely have to go on a hike then, and that's when you girls will be in my hiking videos with me, and we'll go check out some of the colors and all that sort of stuff, like Russian River Falls and some of those hikes, and those easy family-friendly hikes. But yeah, it's wet. It's very kind of humid, but that's to be expected with the rain. It rains a lot more than in Idaho, that is for sure. Even though, like, it's rained this much, but like apparently the forest fire warnings, like at high, which is a trip for me. I'm used to like everything being brownish yellow, and you going outside towards the end of July, it smells like someone started a campfire because of all the forest fires. That's what I'm used to. So seeing all this green and the sign saying danger, fire warning high, it's like, the hell are you guys talking about, man? This is a swamp out here. There are literally swamps out here. But you know, I guess it's just different locations have different struggles, right? We've talked about that in the past, that you can't really judge an area if you don't know it too well, because once you start knowing it better, you don't want to judge it anyway, because every area's got stuff going on. A lot of times you don't know all the details. It's just like people. We don't judge people because we don't know them. That old story. Judge not lest you be judged, right? Anyway, so let me give you a little bit of a download on what dip netting is. So there's a bunch of different ways to fish. There's fly fishing, there's bait fishing, and then there's netting. And dip netting is something that, like,
are you guys headed back into
native,
town now?
Native Alaskans
I don't know how long we're gonna
have been doing for centuries,
we're gonna walk
right?
around it all here.
They,
Look, take care, thank
yeah.
you too.
So here we go. This is why my apartment smells like fish. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, so this is bonkers. This is really, really dirty out here. And that's what happens when people come around. A lot of people means a lot of yuck. And I would love to look for agates, and I see a couple pretty good ones. There's an agate. That might be our one agate I try to get this trip. Yep, that's an agate. I don't really want to put my hands in all this dead fish. You know what I'm saying? There you go. Pretty cool. Might be chalcedony, but it's cool looking. Anyway, so dip netting is where you take big nets and you just sort of dip them in the water and you catch the fish with the net. It is very regulated. There's like police and stuff on the beach. And what you see here is there's a bunch of all these dead fish. And what these are, some of them you can tell there's eggs, there's fish eggs and stuff. And those are the females that were taken. And so before I go on much further, let me kind of explain. So I see this row. That's the fish eggs and the fish heads. So before I go too much further, let me explain. So dip netting is a traditional way of catching fish. So where you just put your net in, you wait till a wave of fish come in, and you just pick them up. And the native Alaskans did it for a long time, centuries and centuries, and up till now, as a way to get food. Because you can't really get, like, they can't go to the store, right? You can't just go to the store and buy food. Like, you have to catch it. And a big part of their diet, for native Alaskans especially, was salmon. And the salmon runs tend to happen every year in July and August. And so you go down with your dip net and you catch as many fish as you can, because it gets you through the winter. And then you also have the natives will also eat seal, whale, caribou, moose, whatever meat they can find. Because especially during the winter, there's not a lot of available meat, and so it carried over. And so they made a rule. I don't know when, I don't know the specifics, I don't get into that. But if you're an Alaska native, if you live in Alaska, you're an Alaska resident, you can go dip netting just once a year. So this time of year, Kenai and Soldotna kind of explode in population. They go from like having like 12,000 people, maybe 15, to like 30, 40, depending on how good the fishing is. And a lot of what they're doing here is, so all this stuff you see on the beach, they'll harvest the fish and they'll leave the roe, the eggs and the guts, and it makes everything stink real bad. But the seagulls and the other wildlife love it. So I mean, it's kind of helpful, but it is disgusting, and it smells really bad of fish down here. It just smells like a bunch of dead fish. But you know, it's what you get for living in paradise, right? Can't be paradise all the time. But the timing of dip netting is really important, because You can only do it during a certain time of the year when the fish are, so salmon, they are born in the rivers, and then when they're young, like in September, October, they go out to sea. They go out in the ocean, and then when they need to spawn, when they need to make babies, they swim in from the ocean, back up the mouth of the Kenai River, and go further down. There's another river called Kasilof, and they'll swim up that one. And it's worth that time when they're older and bigger, they swim up. And so what you do is you wait until they're swimming in, trying to hit the mouth of the Kenai River, opening the Kenai River, and you go out with your net and you see these guys, they're just sitting there waiting for these schools of fish to come in. And what you do is you catch them, and then you gut them, and you fillet them. There's 2 fillets per salmon. And there's limits. Some people think the limit's too high. Some people don't like limits at all. I don't get into those politics. But what you do is you get in there and you catch your fish, catch your limit. Then on the way out, there's like a booth that you go to. In that booth, you report like what you had and what you caught, and I don't know if the rangers or police officers, they pay a fee. And I think it's based upon how many you catch. You pay a fee. And so, like I said, the timing is really important. It's something that people don't understand. Timing is everything. There's our timing. It's when you want things to happen. And then there's the Lord's timing. Which I've experienced it. We're experiencing it right now. We wish our house in Idaho was sold sooner. We'd like to have already been sold. But the timing's coming out. I don't know where it should be. And I think we're gonna someday look back and realize it all happened for a reason. That's been my experience in life. Because I want things to happen the way I want them to happen. But they don't. And then when I look back, I'm like, you know what, it's probably for the better that it happened that way anyway. But yeah, this is, I don't even think this is a particularly busy day. But this is definitely the largest amount of people I've seen on the beach. By a mile, oh my goodness. Yeah, I've never seen this many people here. This is crazy. Fortunately, I think they might be on their favorite agate hunting spot, so I might not be able to hunt for agates. I'll go check it out. I'm gonna ask if I can watch this. Hey, filming a video for my daughters. Do you mind if I watch and let them see? All right, cool.
We've been recording ourselves.
Oh yeah.
We have a 360 and we were recording.
Oh, cool, cool.
I'm just scaling them because I actually like to eat the skin too.
Oh, nice.
I'm just
Yeah, we're.
pretending like I'm helping.
Well, way to pretend. I won't even pretend. Awesome. So what's the limits for, how does, I moved up in April. My family's moving up next month. I work at the hospital, so I've never been through dip net
I
season.
grew up here and this is actually my first time dip
Okay.
netting on my own.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But between me,
Without the parents.
yeah, me, him, and our daughter, we all got our
Okay.
licenses. Our limit this
Sure.
year was
44.
45.
Oh, 45, yeah, 45.
Yeah, it's 45
Okay.
this
Yeah.
year. And it depends on
So the limit's 45 per.
between
For
the
the,
three of us.
yeah, 3 of us.
For-
So
okay.
mine would have been 35 plus 10, 25 plus 10 plus 10.
Okay, that's how many
So-
fish you can get. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because it varies from where you're fishing and whether you're dip netting or fly fishing.
Oh,
And it
sure.
also depends on like how many fish are actually coming in and stuff. So that'll
Okay.
all of that.
I've seen on the Facebook pages where they're keeping track of like numbers and stuff, and that's probably why. Okay. Did you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
come out for like a whole weekend, or is it just kind of a one-day sort of thing?
This is a 12-hour jaunt from Wasilla. We left at like midnight and we're kind of like calling it at noon. And
To
Oh,
be fair,
yeah.
this is very common when
Yeah,
you live in
yeah.
Alaska to be like, man, we all have a free weekend. Let's take a 5-hour drive. for-
I've done
for a
that many
day.
times so far. Yeah, I've only been here like 3 months and I've already
Oh yeah. And
definitely hit that. Or like,
one thing that a lot of people
Yeah.
find weird is that we'll just do things in time measurement. We're like, "Psh, that's only 3 hours away.
yep, that's, you know, Idaho and Texas, like a lot of the western U.S. is that way. You go
Yeah.
back east and people are like, 20 miles, that's too far. What are you talking about? That's like 5 minutes.
You want to get out of your neighborhood that's 20 miles.
Right.
There though, when you live in when you start living in the cities down there, because I know when we were in California, it was like, whoo, 20 miles, that is a long way.
Well, that's like, yeah, that's like a 2-hour drive because of traffic. Yeah, that's crazy.
That way I can get
So
some
that's why, like,
Awesome.
I understand when people are a little
Yeah.
shocked that they're like, so you can drive the length of Alaska in one day? I'm like, I mean, not really.
I mean, you could, but if you hate yourself, awesome. All right, well, I won't keep you guys. I appreciate you
Hey, you
sitting and
take care,
talking.
and,
That and I'm filming in.
hopefully see you fishing next time.
Yeah. All right, so I forgot that I shut off my camera, but that was cool. People here are really nice. They seem to be. Most of the people I meet here, I don't think I've ever met a mean person. People in Alaska, people are super chill. They love to talk to you, and they'll pull over and help you out. I've seen cars stuck and groups of people willing to take care of you. I've seen where people get hit or hit a moose, and then just strangers will pull over to the side of the road. They want to help you. It's a small place, and a lot of people here come from somewhere else, so they may not have family up here, so they become like family. And that was just an example. I don't know those people, but now they're subscribers to the channel, and really appreciate them taking time out of their day to tell me a little bit about some stuff here in Alaska. And pretty crazy to see on the beach all these trucks and cars and stuff. I'm not used to that. I've been coming to the beach at least, I don't know, twice a week for about the past 4 months almost, and I have never seen more than like 2 vehicles on the beach. I don't know exactly how I feel about it, but I know that for a lot of people this is a really important time of year. It all goes back to what I was talking about earlier. That just because something seems weird to you, something seems off to you, doesn't mean that that's exactly what it is. We all take time to understand not everybody thinks the same way, not everybody has the same experiences, and to trust in that timing, things will more often than not turn out. And things aren't always perfect. Sometimes things can suck. But overall, you're going to be a happy person if you understand that things don't happen in your timing all the time. And then no matter what, you do it well when I tell you the number one thing that we always say, and that's if you can do anything, or if you can be anything, be kind. So I'm gonna go try to check out my agate spot. That's gonna be a bit of a walk, but I'm gonna let you guys go. And as always, I want you to remember a few things. I want you to remember that you're awesome, that you're smart, and you're beautiful. And I love you.